Yeah, so we've gone through, I think from the start, we went through the idea of the diagrams, we went through
Architectural projects.
architectural projects, how we are to use
Represent.
representation, and now finally we even touched upon the sort of software or the tools that we can use for all of this in this in this entire ecosystem of sorts. My question to you is, what would you or how would you suggest that a student who is just starting to study architecture now, how must he or she engage with this ecosystem
Yeah.
in this age, in this time? I mean,
It's
you
also
said
relevant
yeah,
because you
yeah,
see how
exactly.
you mentioned first semester I made one drawing, it took me a week.
Yeah.
Second semester onwards I was like this. I was on Vectorworks, and now look, I know the problems of each software.
Yeah.
How does a student that comes into studied now then?
Yeah. How does he or she have to, how do they just start engaging? Because, you know, this, it is no longer this, this 90s world of the hand drawing still or the new ideas coming out. This is, as we have seen through this conversation, is a far more complex world with many, like you said, no, 2005 there was this explosion, and then now it's so tough to keep track.
Yeah.
Also, already it sounds like in Grasshopper lingo, it sounds like things have been baked. I think 10 years ago, we were all trying to like jump between softwares and going like, oh yeah, but if you want to do that, you can do that on that much better. Then if you want to do this, you can do this here. And I'd wonder what kind of a discussion would happen in a cafeteria in a architecture university now. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I saw Enscape for the first time, like it was 2 years ago. I was like, what? If I could have had this in school. Like trying to set up a rendering in school was like it
nightmare.
was so painful. Yeah. So I would say maybe if we start from sort of the like backwards, what we are aiming at is at the digital twins.
Okay.
That is gonna be the thing. Governments are moving into that direction. The UK has a solid program to that. Here in Sweden, the government is funding a lot of that as well because they want to move in that direction. I think that's going to be probably like countries will start moving that way.
Right.
Which means that then the deliverables that the municipalities will request for approval of projects are not going to be any more 2D drawings or even PDFs, but it's going to be BIM models, which is the way the UK works now. Like the government projects, you have to deliver a BIM model. Like PDFs are not anymore what they request. So yeah, so as you saw, like BIM allows for these digital twins, like hyper realistic with all the screws in the model type of 3D model. Then you need the BIM. But then I would say you, as a student, you need to have a good modeling skills, like, or have skills in a good modeling software. Call it Rhino is the go-to tool right now for good, like a good modeler, 3D modeler. What's the name of the open source?
Blender.
Yeah.
There is even projects going on for BIM Blender, and you can get 2D drawings out of it. Blender is coming quite strong. So that could be like another go-to 3D basic tool. Yeah, you will have the BIM, but I wouldn't get too crazy about like going super BIM. Maybe first you learn how to use a nice modeling tool, and then you can produce drawings.
Yeah.
Flow plans, so you can do production with that. But I think one key thing now, it's programming.
Mm-hmm.
If you can in school learn Python, and the next one is C#. But if you
Right.
can do Python, then you can do so many things with so many software nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, because it's all now this idea of the APIs, and that you can like link stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all moving web as well. The digital twins will be also a web version of
Yeah,
everything.
it's way more closer to game engine environments than to Rhino in a way.
Yeah,
almost.
like this idea of the desktop software, it's sort of passing.
Yeah.
So as a student, I think you will benefit a lot with knowing some programming.
But just to clarify, if I were to say to learn a good modeling software, to learn 3D modeling itself, you mean I would mean it in a way that means to learn to design in all directions in 3D. And even though Rhino is a 3D software, it's not even as close to some other. There's sculpting functions in Blender. There's ZBrush, and what I would say is to learn to design in 3D directly is what is more important about learning a good 3D modeling tool, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not even considering that the 2D is an option. Like doing
Yeah, but
AutoCAD or whatever. Yes, you should strive to make your designs in a 3D manner. Yeah.
Okay.
And work in 3D. Yeah, that's more what I wanted to say as a clarification for myself, because often, even in the teaching that I've done in the past, by the way, Chirag is taught in Mumbai way more than I have. He's been an assistant professor for, I don't know, 3 years?
No, 2.5. Yeah.
2.5. And he often tells me way more about how his interaction with students used to be in Mumbai, and it's not too long ago. So we often discuss this a lot, especially with respect to the softwares that we ourselves know and the new ones that we were introduced to in the program here, and how the 3D environment actually works. And it's something that can be taught even now, even though there was this whole wave of the digital, but there's been so much design teaching that may have not focused on the sort of, that's why I like to sort of dumb it down and say design from all directions at the same time, instead of saying do it in a 3D model, because then people just draw a floor plan, put it in Rhino, and extrude.
Yeah.
That's not what we mean by that, right?
Yeah. No, you have to. I will repeat this phrase, but like you have to master the tools in such a way that you can express your ideas. Like, I think that's one of the most important things when you are in a real office and when you're new as a designer, you just got hired. You have to be able to show your ideas. This is not school anymore, that you have an hour to explain to your teacher where your idea is coming from, because you didn't have time to finish your drawing. Like in the real environment, you have to be fast. Like, you have a good idea, cool. Then try to express it as quick and as best as you can. Like publication level type of drawings, always. Sketchy things, no. Try to always make it look as if it was a final drawing.
Right.
And this idea of producing always final work is very important, because you just get like this sort of system, and then you don't waste time. Like, you're always making things look nice. Like, if you're putting something in a page, align, put everything like as it was going to be published tomorrow.
Right.
And it means that your colleagues will understand your idea, and you have much more a chance that your ideas and your concepts will be used in a project, Because if your ideas are not clear, then there is very little chance that they're going to be used. So yeah, it's not really about like a specific software, but like make sure that you know the software that allows you to express your ideas. And and then collaboration. We have people that only use certain software, and then they cannot collaborate with the rest of the office. So it's important also to keep that in mind, that you know software that allows you to collaborate
within
with
the
others.
team. Yeah.
Right now, what that means is Revit and Bio. If I put it simply in like nowadays, if you know those two, then you can collaborate with tons of people. But maybe in a couple of years that might change. But
we'll see.
Is there also some? Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, like, and then in terms of tools, for me, theory, philosophy are tools as well. Like you do.
That's what I was trying to get to. But thanks.
you do need a background that allows you to understand reality. Like philosophy for me is not about thinking about existence. Philosophy for me is a way to understand how the world works, so that then I can propose things like, we have this problem, why is it? Then I have all these philosophical tools that allow me to understand where things come from, how reality works, and then I can propose solutions. And my concepts, architectural concepts, will normally come out of these philosophical tools. You can call them theoretical tools, but you need to do that, because then you develop your own ideas about how the world works and how you should operate as a designer, instead of just following formal trends and colors and styles.
I think that's super important when it comes to someone who is just starting to study architecture.
That's actually very well put.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you mentioned philosophical tools or theoretical tools.
Yeah, this whole when we were in school, I think I remember very clearly this practice and theory separation that is such a false sort of binary that existed.
Yeah.